Tonight on the Chillstream, space aliens and UFOs just aren't cutting it. Time to bring out the big guns. A daring $1.8 billion robbery in the broad daylight in the middle of New York City, and a whole lot more. All that coming up in 2 minutes. See you on the other side. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another Monday night chill stream with me, your host, STFU James, America's boldest adversarial thinker. How's that for self-promotion, huh? Man, there's so much stuff going on. As usual, it's going to be hard to make sense of it all, but I will do my level best to point you in the right direction to help you avoid the pitfalls of looking at the wrong thing and looking the wrong way, and hopefully you'll be able to zig when everyone else zags and not get caught in it. So there's man, I cannot believe how much stuff I have. I got to look through what I want. Let me try. Let me think of. I'm sitting here. Wondering where to go first. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go with the daring. Let's go with the daring daylight robbery that I just saw in New York City. New York City, city of my birth, and the capital city of America, like it or not, the money center of America, and media center of America, recently got robbed in broad daylight. Not the city itself, but the taxpayers. So we got a quick 42-second video to illustrate how bad things have gotten.
Teachers who failed the teacher's test get millions. Over 5,000 Black and Hispanic teachers are expected to collect over $1.8 billion in settlements following a discrimination lawsuit over a certification exam. The lawsuit claimed that a test used for teacher licensing disproportionately allowed white candidates to pass. So far, 225 people who failed the exam have been notified that they're going to get paid at least $1 million each. The largest settlement so far is to a 64-year-old in Queens who's receiving over $2 million. Welcome to the new land of opportunity. If you can be a victim and hire a good lawyer, you'll never have to work again.
Please like, comment, and
subscribe. So that's the thing about that story is that, you know, the taxpayers of New York City are getting robbed for $1.8 billion with the B, and they're handing it out to all these losers who have been in the board, working for the Board of Ed for how many years and can't pass the teacher exam. And so they're claiming, racism. And the way that really works is that the lawyers are going to collect most of that $1.8 billion because all these losers, once they realize there's going to be a lawsuit, the lawyers tell them about how much they're going to get, and they start taking cash advances against their future judgment, and which of course the lawyers are more than happy to give them. They're happy to loan them money against their future judgment at interest, of course. So the lawyers really get most of that money, but that's a rob job right in the middle of the day, like in front of everybody, in full view with the blessing of the courts. 1.8 billion with the B. A billion here, a billion there. After a while, you start talking about some real money, right? Things are really, really accelerating. But if you're a Bitcoiner, things are going in the right direction. But if you're not, well, then you're kind of you kind of believe in things that aren't true. This is a great. I saw this. I meant to show this a couple other times. Almost all the industries you think exist, they exist kind of in name only. Everybody's looking for a way to get something for nothing. This video, I'm not sure who this dude is. He's a New York bro, but I don't know if he's like Middle Eastern or what. 1 minute 30 seconds. Something you didn't know about airlines and air travel.
I got another one for you. The United States airline industry. All these airlines lose mad money. And we found this out during the PPP. They had to make disclosures. They're actually all operating as banks. They don't even sell airfare anymore. Let me explain. So United Airlines, Delta Airlines, American Airlines, they apply for PPP loans and they have to start making disclosures. Government regulators look at it and go, man, your company can't ever pay these PPP loans back. You guys lose money every day on every flight, and you've been losing money for decades. What the hell is going on here? The airline said, nah, don't worry about it. We actually make a lot of money because we print money. We're banks. The airlines, the only way American Airlines makes money is when you use an American Airlines branded credit card and get mileage points. How? Let me explain to you. This is how broken the economy is. Rather than actually operate an airline and give good customer service and make money doing that, they have no incentive to do that. And our government doesn't give a crap. You know what they do? They print mileage points. They sell them to banks. Banks collect a transaction fee on a credit card transaction. So you spend money, the bank gets 2%, 3%, 4%. They kick back 1% to the airline. American Airlines is like worth negative $6 billion. Fact. American Airlines is worth negative $6 billion. Their mileage points program, which is basically a bank, it's worth $20 billion. How's your air travel looking?
Now that's something that's been out there for a long time, and you don't really know it. All these branded credit cards from these different companies, they're printing money to stay afloat. Their core business, flying people from point A to point B, is a disaster. It's losing money, and when shit crashes, like it's really going to crash. When the crash comes, and everyone knows it's coming. When the crash comes, a lot of people will say, "Hey, we saw this coming." The problem is we don't know exactly when it's going to happen. Here's another. This next video, we're going to shoot down to Miami, go down to the beach, say hi to the people, to the lovely people of Miami. Got a couple of Florida videos. Explaining to you that Florida, the boom town, the boom town that was during the pandemic, not exactly booming anymore.
I want you to take a look at these homes behind me. Newly constructed. 4 of them are available for sale, unsold. The builder is now cutting the price. These houses have been sitting on the market, and this is more of what you're going to see in the 2023 housing market, particularly in cities like Pensacola, Florida, where I am right now. This was a pandemic boomtown. People were moving here. Well, they're not moving here anymore in 2023. And the unfortunate thing for these builders is that when you look at the income in this zip code, it's $27,000 median household income. These houses are on the market for around $400,000 to $500,000. Who's going to buy it? Who can afford it? No one in this housing market in 2023 with mortgage rates at 6% and the recession on the doorstep. So don't be surprised if in your city you see more and more empty homes sitting on the market for sale, particularly new construction.
You got builders building like crazy and charging prices that no one can afford, that the market cannot afford. People make $27,000 in that zip code. They're selling houses for $500,000. How are you going to sell that house? How are you even going to rent that house, right? And when it comes crashing down, it's going to pull the banks with it, right? Because these builders borrowed money to build those buildings, and they have to make interest payments on those construction loans. And if they don't pay off the construction loan, they're in default. And then this is a massive problem. Add that to all the unemployment and everything else, you're going to have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of homeless people, and hundreds of thousands of empty homes just sitting there with no one to watch them. What do you think is likely to happen? What do you think is the future is going to look like? There's going to be squatters everywhere, all over the place. Once people figure this out, they're just going to go kick in the door, you know what I mean? Put in a new door lock, call the utilities, have the electric put on, have the gas put on, have the water put on. They'll pay those 3 bills, but they're not going to pay the bank. They're just going to squat in the house. And that's going to be a bigger part of the future than you know, because there's this inability to deal with reality. Is the bill is going to come due. It's going to come due. They're going to try and distract you, but the bill is going to come due. Let's go back to that real estate guy one more time. He's in another part of the country. I think he's in Tennessee. This was another one that I thought was like, what drugs are these people on?
Sellers on the U.S. housing market are completely disconnected from reality right now, like on this townhouse behind me here in Nashville. It's on the market for $900 grand, which is 40% more than it sold for in 2019. Now, it's only 1,800 square feet. It's across the street from houses that have satellite dishes in the front yard, and it's a stone's throw from a water treatment facility with a parking lot with barbed wire around it. And for the pleasure of living next to all of that, you would have to pay $5,800 a month for your mortgage and property taxes to buy this house right now, when the Zillow rental value is only $3,800 a month. What's more, the median household income of people that live in this zip code is $58,000 per year, meaning absolutely no one locally could afford to buy that townhouse, which means that in the second half of 2023, we're going to see sellers like that one have to cut the price significantly in order to move their house. On that listing, it's been on the market for 2 days. They only have 10 saves on Zillow, which means very little interest. A lot of these sellers in the U.S. housing market right now got fooled into thinking there was a recovery occurring in the spring and summer. Well, the reality is going to hit them over the next 3 to 4 months, that 7% mortgage rates are still here and that they're going to have to cut the price to get buyers.
So all these people who threw all this money into real estate because, safest houses and buy land, buy property, you can't miss. Well, all these people are about to default. How many of those townhouses are bought by, Wall Street guys? Probably a lot, or a private equity group or something like that, or BlackRock, these different corporations buying these hundreds of thousands of homes, single family homes all over the place, and then putting a fucking telephone number on it as a fucking asking price, when no one in that zip code, no one who lives anywhere near that zip code could ever afford that. Reality is going to intrude. It's gonna crash into you, and you're really not going to like it. You're really not going to like it. Meanwhile, our government, God bless the U.S. federal government, they're going to need it. Our government is very concerned, and they're holding very important hearings about, we think there could possibly be some problems. So I got two pieces of video, both about a minute. The first one is Janet Yellen, who is now Treasury Secretary. She used to be the head of the Federal Reserve. And then for a brief time during COVID, she was giving Zoom lectures Zoom lectures. She was giving Zoom lectures and made $7 million giving Zoom lectures during COVID. Let's see what Janet Yellen has to say when when asked a few questions by Senator so-and-so about the budget.
Madam Secretary, isn't it a fact that the president's proposed budget for next fiscal year is $500 billion more than this fiscal year?
On the spending side?
Yes. That's what a budget is.
It is $400 billion.
Isn't it a fact that since 2019, the federal government's budget is up 55%?
Something like that, yes.
Isn't it a fact that gross debt will rise to $51 trillion?
The deficit, the debt are reduced. I have no idea. I'm not responsible in any way. I'm sorry. What number did you give me?
Isn't it a fact that you haven't reduced the deficit? Haven't reduced the deficit? Haven't reduced the deficit? Isn't it a fact that your risk management practices are terrible and you need to improve them? Isn't that a fact?
That's probably a fact.
It's probably a fact that, we're going to be $51 trillion in debt. We're going to be a debtor nation when the federal government, the all-powerful federal government, can no longer pay its bills. That's when really interesting shit's going to happen. That's when super interesting shit's going to happen. And right now, they're desperately trying to get you to these people are like literally, they really do believe in magic. They believe in magic and all sorts of juju. What do we got? We got a comment. Virgil Doc, Purple Heart. Welcome to the show, sir. Virgil Doc, Purple Heart, by the way, a confirmed like button smasher. And then, although I was looking at last week's show stats, I got like 42 views during the week and only 3 likes. And I'm thinking Google's fucking with this. I'm really thinking that Google is absolutely fucking with this. That I'm getting more likes than the metrics would indicate. But to continue with it's all fucking the people in charge believe in fucking magic. Well, here you go.
For the general public, for those working families of people, why 2%? Why is getting it to 2% so important?
So that has become the globally agreed, essentially all major central banks target 2% inflation in one form or another. How
does that help my Nevada families? How does that help people in Nevada?
I'll tell you how it does. And it's I guess it's obviously not, it's not obvious how that is, but 2% inflation, to have people believe that inflation is going to go back to 2% really anchors inflation there, because, the evidence is and the modern belief is that people's expectations about inflation actually have an effect on inflation. If you expect inflation to go up 5%, then it will. If everyone kind of expects that, because that's what businesses and households will be expecting, and it will kind of happen because they expect it. So
they're stealing from you every fucking day, and they're mumbling, stuttering fucking morons when they're questioned by the other fucking people, that the puppet masters who pull the fucking strings. They're going to pretend to do their job. Why 2% inflation? That's the globally accepted thing. Well, does America lead the world, or does America follow the world? Does America take a poll of what the central banks of the world want before it decides what it's going to do? Right? This is all, phenomenally stupid bullshit. And these hearings are boring, and they're televised, but nobody watches them. But this does indicate that, they're really, everything is fucking out of control, and Powell really believes if we just expect 2% inflation, we'll get 2% inflation. Never mind the fact that we're printing every year 7% more dollars than we printed the year before. Right? That somehow, 7% plus 7% plus 7% in 3 years equals 21%, right? But not in Powell's math. It's only 2% if you look at it, right? So they're being dishonest. They're lying to everyone about how all this shit works, and you're not focusing on what the consequences are. And what I try to tell people is, not to get caught up in the bullshit, and understand that at the end of the day, money talks and bullshit walks. Money talks and fucking bullshit walks. And, well, you're running around thinking, oh boy, I know the secret to World War II. Hitler was the good guy, and he's going to come back, and he's going to get reincarnated, and he's going to fix everything, and he's going to give me, when Hitler comes back, he's going to take all my little green pieces of paper that were issued by Jews, and he's going to give me Hitler bucks, and, I'll be able to afford a fucking, whatever, a housefrau and an expensive Mercedes, right? That's not going to happen. What's going to happen is the people who are in charge of this shit have an agenda, and it never fucking ends. And it is the most unnatural, offensive agenda in the world. That it's so bad that even this guy, got this clip. I don't know who this is. This is some black preacher bro. That he's seeing part of it, like the God hustle or the Bible hustle is a hustle. We all know that. But even these guys are getting a sense that, you know what, maybe not everything is the way it appears.
Barack became president, he tried to force Africa to accept same-sex marriages, and African government said, we don't allow that stuff here. And Barack sanctioned Africa. Well, Biden duplicated the same thing. Biden said the same thing, trying to force Africa, different countries of Africa, to accept same-sex marriages, and if those countries don't, he will sanction them, starve them. How in the world men knocking up men mean so much to America that you will use your power to starve a baby, starve a woman, because a country want to uphold God's law?
I always get a kick. Those guys really, that's when they're working hard. They really put an effort into that. At that point, the questions of, hey, how come Africa can't feed itself? Why is it America's responsibility to feed African women and African babies? We'll just leave that aside. But even guys like that, who themselves are con artists, right? They're con artists. They're hustlers. They can sense that there's something really wrong here, and to them, I don't think they really give a rat's ass about queers per se, but that tends to put their little his whatever minstrel show kind of out of business, and so he's feeling that heat. He's feeling that this might not be the best thing, and he's noticed that the federal government is the power driving this, and so that's that. But when you understand that they want you in debt and broke, and your children raped and brainwashed, and they think it's funny, they're doing this all the time, everywhere. I saw this on Instagram, and so we're gonna hop over. We're gonna go over to occupied Palestine. Quick trip, and I want to show you a guy who's fucking hard as fucking nails. This dude in this fucking next story is fucking as fucking tough as human beings come. And if you at the end of this video, if you don't fucking admire this guy, then there's no hope for you as a human being.
This is Abu Fares, and this is how he makes his living right next to the ancient archaeological ruins here in Sebastia, which, despite being in the occupied Palestinian territory, are under full Israeli military control. He used to have a proper store, but Israeli forces demolished it in 2017 and told him if he so much as built a sunshade, the occupying army would come in and destroy it. And he's not alone. For decades, Israel and its soldiers have also halted and destroyed Palestinian restoration efforts, the construction of protective structures, and even tourist information points. And now Israel's planning on seizing the ancient ruins and all the surrounding Palestinian land, claiming it suddenly cares about restoring the site so that they can be hailed as saviors instead of the colonial thieves they are.
Can you fucking believe what they did to this guy? Dude's fucking selling souvenirs by the fucking ancient ruins, right? And if you live in that part of the world, that's probably souvenirs, coffee shops, whatever, restaurants, anything like that. that's a livelihood probably for a lot of people and a lot of families. They destroyed this guy's fucking store, and they make him stand out there and I'm telling you, it's crazy hot in that part of the fucking world. The guy has to stand outside, you know, with whatever he's going to sell on fucking tables that he has to set up and probably break down every fucking night in the hot sun under the fucking guns of Israel while they try to crush this fucking guy every day. And every day he says, no, I'm not going to do it. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to show up tomorrow, and I'm going to show up again and again and again. And it's that drive, it's that unwillingness to fold, that willingness to fight that's fucking beautiful. That's that type of courage, that type of commitment to not being bullied is super admirable. I don't know who that guy is, you know, whatever, he's some Palestinian bro, you know, trying to feed his family, trying to feed his, you know, give his grandchildren a better life. And he's willing to stand up to forces much bigger than him. And that's what ultimately we're all going to have to do. But not, it's not so obvious. There's this next video I got, and this I fucking love this, man. I saw this video and I was like laughing like a fucking lunatic. We're gonna come back to the U.S. We're gonna go to Miami. This kid Nico, I don't know, I think his name's Nico Jones, and he's from the YouTube channel Simply Bitcoin. And what's hilarious, what's absolutely fucking hilarious about this clip is, and I wanted to see if you catch the fucking the comedy. I want to see. I will tell you what it is. I'm gonna play the clip, 59 seconds, and I'll tell you. We'll see if we all agree on what the funny part is on the other side of this.
The name of the act is the Digital Asset Anti-Money Laundering Act. It would extend Bank Secrecy Act responsibilities, including Know Your Customer, to digital asset wallet providers, miners, validators, and other network participants that may act to validate, secure, facilitate digital asset transactions. Wait a second. So if you are a wallet, you have to include KYC. If you're a miner, you have to know what transactions, you know, you're including. What is going on here? This is very scary language, because this is not how Bitcoin works. Are they only going to allow pools that are OFAC compliant? That's very scary wording. How long until they say that if your wallet does not have KYC implemented, this is non-kosher Bitcoin? How long until they say that? How long until they say, no, you can't have those transactions? How long until they say American mining pools can't accept certain Bitcoin transactions? How long until they say that? The writing is on the wall. It's undeniable at this point.
So how many of you caught that? How many of you caught that? How soon until they say this is non-kosher Bitcoin? Now, the kid lives in Miami. There's a ton of Jews in Miami, and that's, you know, he's heard that that before. I'm not saying he's a Jew or anything like that, but he literally stumbles right over the truth. Like he stumbles right over it. He says it out loud, but he has no idea what he just said. He knows, but he doesn't know. He knows, but he doesn't know. That is, to me, you know, I used to find that so frustrating and so infuriating. But now it's fucking hilarious. It's absolutely fucking hilarious. Unconsciously, right? He identifies the problem, but he doesn't even know he's done it. Doesn't even know that he's done it. I find that absolutely fucking hilarious. Not as hilarious as this next bit. The UFOs, the space alien thing, not really working out the way they'd hoped. Last week I showed you the photo of Mark Zuckerberg standing with Israel Adesanya, and I don't know what the guy, Makachev or whatever the guy's name is. Saw this on Instagram, and this is obviously photoshopped. There's Zuckerberg, you know, he actually, if you look closely at his left eye, it appears that he's got a partially healed black eye, what would just be called a mouse underneath your eye. So there's Zuckerberg looking, you know, like he's filmed with sweat. He's in his whatever MMA gear and he's ready to fight. Oh, he's so determined. Zuckerberg versus Musk, you know, Mark versus Elon. This is going to be the fight of the century, right? And this, let me tell you, is 20 times fucking better than space aliens. And by the way, although to be honest, I believe in space aliens before I believe that this thing's actually going to happen. But as a distraction, as a global distraction from the financial meltdown, the battle of the billionaires is going to be fucking huge. And you think, well, James, you're making too much of this shit. It's not really that big of a deal. Well, I'm going to show you that it is, in fact, quite a big deal. Let me pull that off the screen. Let me pull that off the screen because they are doing, when I'm telling you they're going to pull out all the stops for this fucking thing, for this fucking psyop bullshit like you've never seen before. This next clip, 1 minute, going to show you how deep and how deeply they're committed to this fucking to this distraction story.
So what's up, man? Elon Musk. What's going on with Zuckerberg? Well, I heard you got all the information behind
you got to promote that?
It's real. It's real. My wife do want to fight. It's real.
My wife says
it's real.
Zuckerman's gonna kick his ass. I said no. I think Elon's gonna bust Zuckerman's
ass. We were literally talking. Funny because we were talking about the Coliseum for that fight, and I actually did have a meeting with it's the Minister of Culture's team,
really,
in Italy, to actually hold that fight in the Coliseum if it would happen. So,
well, how they gonna fight? Just going all out or just boxing?
No, it'd be MMA.
Yeah, I want to see that one.
No way, man.
I want to see that.
Yeah, we're talking.
Now, is Elon going to use steroids or something?
No steroids. No steroids allowed.
But don't sleep on Zuckerberg.
These guys would be drug tested.
My wife says the same thing.
So that's how far they're willing to go. They got Dana White, who started the UFC, and he sold the UFC to a Chinese outfit for some billions, 3 or 4 billion a little while ago. But he stays on as CEO and frontman. He has been in talks with the government of Italy to use the actual Colosseum in Rome for this fucking event. Now, is it going to happen? No, it's not going to happen. Elon Musk is a fat fuck. Judas Fly Chai, I haven't seen you in a while. What up, blood? Dear SDFU James, why is it so common for females to get tattoos these days? They're seeking male attention. Judas Fly Chai, you have to go on Instagram and find a guy named Gary Gunn, G-A-R-Y-G-U-N-N. Englishman, gonna sort out all your female problems. In the meantime, I have bigger fish to fry than your concerns with women getting permanently tattooed. This Zuckerberg versus Elon thing is way, way better and will involve more people and distract them for longer than this. The 1950s UFO shit is like done. It's like completely overdone. So yeah, Judas Fly Chai. No worries. G-A-R-Y-G-U-N-N. Find the guy on Instagram. He's on YouTube too, but he does most of his stuff on Instagram. This will dramatically improve your life consuming that man's content. So the economy is fucking crashing. The budget's going through the fucking roof. America's not going to be able to pay the interest on its fucking debts. And what is everyone concerned about? Well, it's concerned about who would win in a fight, Superman or the Flash, right? This is literally elementary school level shit. Who would win in a fight, Mighty Mouse or Underdog? It's nonsensical and it's childish and it's a brilliant distraction because it absolutely fucking will work. It will 100% work, and you need to not that anyone I don't think on this show is going to buy into it. And by the way, smash up that like button if you haven't already. If you're here all this time and you haven't already smashed up the like button, and I know there are like button smashers out there, even if Google subtracts it the moment you smash the like button, do it anyway. Make the little Google bot work very hard and bust a microchip. Make sure to smash up the like button. But we are, at the end of the day, we're fucking winning. When I say we, I'm talking about Bitcoiners. I'm not talking about anything else, because Bitcoin is the only fucking thing that can win, that is winning. and we are going to take over the fucking planet. Abso-fucking-lutely. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Here's Jeff Booth, right? To talk about what the basis of the current system is and what the basis of the future is going to be.
Do you need theft and money to have a productive society? Or the opposite question, if you had theft and money that had to exponentially expand, what would that do to society? What would be the mirror reflection of society if it was based on theft? As that theft has to increase, more people notice the theft. Like if somebody walks away 2% inflation rate, you just might as well change inflation to theft because you don't vote for it. Why have we been conditioned to think we need a 2% inflation rate? If we just talked in first principles, doesn't that sound illogical to say we need 2% theft and money per year? If you could wave a magic wand and say, I'm going to fix it, what would you do? There isn't a fix. There isn't a mathematical fix out of the existing system. You really have two doors. Door one, let it all burn. Door two, continue to lie to people and print money to try to make the debt repayable in cheaper nominal terms. What would be the mirror reflection of society based on truth versus theft?
So that's an interesting philosophical question. Why must you be robbed of 2% of your wealth every year in order to have a productive economy? And, why do you accept that? How you've been conditioned to accept that. And I think that's a terrible thing. I think you should not be robbed. At the end of the day, making it difficult, if not impossible, to rob you is probably one of the more important things in life. No matter who you are, no matter what your circumstances, whether you got $5 or $5 million, you don't want it stolen from you. And when the entire world is fucking running, or America, the most powerful country, is running on a system of massive global theft, it drives behaviors and misaligns incentives for millions and hundreds of millions of people. We got another comment. Judas Flychild probably blazing away. I support Israel, so I support inflation. Well, then you will soon be unseated, sir. Soon you will be unseated because Israel doesn't even want to. What does it not want to do? It doesn't even want to shoot people anymore. Where is it? Here's a quick 30 seconds on. I don't know if you think that robots are gonna do stuff for you in Israel, but you guys better get to work on shit. Like how to grow food and stuff, not this stuff.
I wish I could say I was shocked to find out that Israel's techno-dystopia is testing out remote-controlled guns with AI tracking systems on civilians in the West Bank. They've just installed one in Haida refugee camp pointing directly at the entrance to the Palestinian neighborhood. This same spot where an Israeli sniper shot dead a 13-year-old boy and regularly fires at kids. I guess Israel's massive wall, armored military jeeps, snipers, foot soldiers, and 6 watchtowers surrounding the area just wasn't enough defense against the scary Palestinian kids with rocks.
So they don't even want to shoot the 10-year-olds themselves anymore, right? They want the robots to shoot the 10-year-old kids for throwing a rock, and when you understand that to them we are all Palestinians, we're all Palestinians. You know what I mean? There's no difference between that guy selling trinkets, the kid throwing rocks, and you. There's no difference. And they are the central bankers. Janet Yellen is a member of the tribe. Jerome Powell is a member of the tribe. The previous chairman of the Fed, Ben Bernanke, was a member of the tribe. Alan Greenspan, a member of the tribe. This goes back to the 80s, goes back to a guy. Who was the guy in the 80s? I had a German name. He got a Lifetime Achievement Award from Israel. So these are the people in charge of the money. These are the people in charge of the economy. These are the people who determine how we exchange and what we exchange for. And this, the system that they got is shit, right? It's absolute fucking shit. It's credit money. It's credit. It's not real money. Real money, hard money builds extraordinary things, builds beautiful things like this. Here's a perfect example. I just saw this on my Instagram feed because I look at all this archaeology stuff. This is some sort of temple in Tehran, Iran. So it's some sort of Islamic temple. This was not built with a bank loan. You understand? The level of detail and the artistry and the engineering that had to go into making this happen comes from someone with hard money who knows what they want. And they want something that's beautiful. They want something that is transcendent, and they want it to last forever. Here's another shot of it. You can see the clearly the Western influence in the second piece with the columns, obviously the columns being sort of a Greco-Roman thing. There's a lot of stuff from Islam that really they got almost entirely from the West. From usually Greek slaves that were converted to Islam, were some of their most famous mathematicians and architects and engineers. But that historical quirk aside, this was not built in a day, right? This was not built by someone who had to make a mortgage payment, who was worried about whether or not the bank would foreclose on the temple. This is what hard money builds, and that's what the people of Iran are totally capable of. Judas Fly Chai, adversarial is another way of saying satanic. It is the devil himself that compels you to speak out against Israel. Wow, that is the devil. The power of Christ compels you. Well, that may be true, Mr. Fly Chai. I don't know. Depends on what you think the devil is, right? When I see people like this showing, I guess the level of respect that Israelis have, that Jews have for others' religions, it's probably pretty well represented in this clip.
But it's really big and it's inappropriate for this place. Okay, that's a Jewish place. You need to respect the place. Can you please put it inside?
Okay, this is very harsh. It's very harsh. No, you're not respecting.
Can you please stop taking pictures?
You're not respecting. You're hindering me from my human right to. This is not provocation. I'm an abbot. This is my dress. This is how I'm dressed.
I told you to do something with your dress code. I told you to do something with your cross.
The cross is part of my dress code. I'm a Roman Catholic abbot. This is how I dress. So you want from me that I am not dressed as my faith tells me how I should dress.
See, Judas, the only reason why those people get away with that, telling a Roman Catholic that he can't wear a cross while he's walking around in Israel and to stop filming, the only reason why you can get away with that is because you are backed up by the Rothschilds, who are the central bankers of central bankers. And the economic system, the system of incentives that they have used to control the planet is currently enforced. But it won't be enforced forever. I got this great, this lovely bit of news. Because we've been going through some dark bits of video. This next piece of news is a phenomenally good piece of news. I can just put it up there as a screen share. I've mentioned this guy before. This guy's name is Javier Milei. He is a senator in Argentina, and he's currently running for president of Argentina. He is a 100% hardcore Bitcoin maximalist. He calls central bankers parasites. Now, he doesn't say who they are, but he calls them parasites. And if you go on YouTube and you type in Javier Milei, there's a bunch of crazy video of him, man. Argentina is wild. Their politics is wild, where he's like on some kind of game show, and they put a piñata shaped like a bank building, and they blindfolded him, and they have him whacking this piñata. That's the central bank, and he's like just goes completely mental on this. But this just in, Javier Milei, the Bitcoin maximalist, is now leading in the polls for Argentina's president. So Argentina may get a Bitcoin maximalist as a president. So RFK Jr. bought 14 Bitcoin because he wants generational wealth for his family going forward. Javier Milei, who openly calls central bankers parasites, is leading the polls in Argentina for president. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. We will take over the fucking planet. We will absolutely take over the planet because the system of theft is rotting underneath its own weight. And nobody's going to do a fucking thing unless they're paid to do it. There are no volunteers in life. There are absolutely nobody's volunteering, right? And certainly not my audience. My audience is all with their hands out. Argentina has an observant Jewish community, though I cannot attest to how religious it is. They must have some pretty good, well, Argentina has very good steaks. I don't know about their pork, but they're all observant Jews, Mr. Flychai, until, of course, they're told to be something else. When they're told to be communist, they'll be communist. When they're told to be religious, they'll be religious. They do with their what is in their perceived best interest, and that is almost always aligned with real world concerns. This is everybody. The stuff behind the scenes. I can't remember why I never showed this years ago, but this was I've been thinking about this Fed stuff. And that Fed cop who's supposedly related to me, and it made me dig this up. And this was you can see Norman was DMing me on Twitter back when I was on Twitter, and he invited me on a live stream. I didn't even bother checking the fucking channel, and he says, "James, pick a fight with someone," and I'm like, and I ignored that message. A couple hours later, he goes, "Oh, that was Pat's show," meaning Patrick Bateman, the Staten Island drug addict who works for the federal government. And I wrote back to him. I was like, "You cook for Bateman?" And here's Norman, handling things head on in a straightforward and honest way. Thanks for coming on. Always good having you. When I tell you these guys are fucking feds, when people act like feds, they're feds. You know what I mean? When and they are no talent fucking shitheads. Who couldn't generate 5 minutes worth of fucking content, but they're all trying to get a fucking welfare check. You know what I mean? They're all trying to be like those fucking teachers in New York City that, to try and score $1 million a piece for being a fucking failure. And you only get that if you have proper skin tone. So, $1 million losers, very much, all over the place. So, what else? Let's continue. Let's continue to talk about the chosen people. God loves them more than He loves you, and that doesn't make God a racist, and it doesn't make them racist. But trust me, they know what they're talking about. Here's another example of like a good neighbor, Israeli version.
Israeli forces were seen violently restricting and beating Christian worshippers on their way to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in occupied East Jerusalem, after placing arbitrarily heavy-handed restrictions on Easter celebrations, which Christian leaders believe is part of an ongoing Israeli policy to push them out of their homeland. And just a couple weeks ago, the self-proclaimed most moral army in the world did the same thing to Muslim worshippers at their holy site in occupied East Jerusalem. And it all boils down to Israel as the occupying power intentionally, relentlessly, and violently trying to artificially alter the ethnic and religious demographic to assert Jewish Israeli supremacy.
So at this point, nobody cares, right? And nobody cares because they can afford to care. And if you dare stand up against it, you're going to end up like that Palestinian dude. You're going to have to stand in the hot sun 12 hours a day underneath the machine guns of people who think you were born to be their slave. Most people don't have that kind of courage. Most people don't have that type of commitment. And somebody like me, when I point out that the most important act of Judaism is for a religious figure to suck the penis of an infant, that's not just me being funny. That's not just me being cheeky, right? That is the number one act of Judaism, right? When a baby's born, first thing the church does, wash the baby. Muslims, when a baby's born, first thing they do, first official act, they wash the baby. I don't know what the Chinks do, but the idea that that a grown man will put his mouth on a child's genitals and it's considered a holy thing, a religious thing, that they've gotten away with this, that no one has openly called them out on this, is probably makes them that must really make them think that they're entitled to run shit, you know. But selective attention is selective attention. You're focused on the wrong things. And somebody like me, I point directly at it. You know what I mean? I'm not dancing around the fucking subject. I point fucking directly at it. And then people, you know, the cognitive dissonance of what you've been trained to believe your whole life versus what your eyes tell you, you know, you feel that, it upsets you, and then you decide that I'm the bad guy. Well, I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck what you think of me, whether I'm the bad guy or not the bad guy. I tell the truth. I tell the truth as best I can. And in terms of going beyond the fucking illusions of my time, of my culture, I have certainly done that. Judas Lightshire is going nuts in the chat as per usual. You must have like a double espresso along with your daily dose of weed. I would cut back. I would cut back on the caffeine, Mr. Lightshire. You're getting very, very, very excited, and it might not be good for your health. Remember this: listen. We're all born into this world of fucking paper receipts. You know what I mean? Whether you consider them issued by Jews or just central bankers or whatever, I don't care. I don't care how you see it, how you have to think about it. But essentially, they're permission slips, right? For people you don't vote for and you have no control. And that determines so much of your life. People think of themselves like, you know, I make the joke like, oh, you want to, Bitcoiners want to buy a Lamborghini and snort cocaine out of a supermodel's ass crack. You know, people want to pursue whatever their perceived pleasures are without thinking of the consequence. And listen, that's part of human nature, but what the real range of pleasures are, what the best use of your life is, you're not seeing. You see everything through a very, very, very distorted lens. You know, you measure your worth as a human being. You meet someone who has 1 million green pieces of paper, right? They got 1 million Jewish permission slips. And you think, wow, they're a millionaire, you know, and I'm not a millionaire. They must be a better person than me. Well, stop measuring your value as a human being based on an economic system designed by people who think you were born to be their slaves. Like, don't do that. You know what I mean? You want to be based. You really want to be based, as they say. You want to be fucking based. You want to be your own man, your own woman. Stop judging your success or failure in life based on an economic system designed to keep you, your children, and your grandchildren enslaved. Think differently. That's what I try to tell people. Think differently. Okay? Reject their fucking values. Reject their fucking their way of gaining value. Just fucking reject it outright. Do something different, because this is going to end badly. We all know that. Judas Lightshire in the chat. I literally did not take my anticonvulsant medication. Well, perhaps you should catch up with your meds, sir. Please, Mr. Lightshire. I would hate to think that that this show is so compelling that it would make you skip over important health practices. But please take your anticonvulsant medications, whatever that is. I don't know, what is it? Do you have epilepsy? I don't even know. There are a lot of cracks in this system, and because the people at the top are asleep at the fucking switch, they're incompetent fucking boobs, you know, carrying out the fucking wishes of the central bank fucking masters. This thing's gonna crash. It's not a matter of if, it's a question of when. And I'm just telling you, protect yourself, protect those you care about. Stop holding the value of your life in the pieces of paper that are issued by Jews or by central banks, whatever you want to call them, right? Or things that are valued in those dollars, those Federal Reserve notes, those slavery coupons. Again, it's not important for me to know or to that you use this language or that language. You know what I mean? And when you're talking to other people, perhaps you're talking to other people about, hey, inflation's fucked up. Have you seen the price of gasoline? Have you seen the price of food? Have you noticed that nobody can get a mortgage? Blah 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 blah. You don't have to go down the ethnic road, but you could say, you know what, the people at the top are going to screw this up, and we could end up like Weimar, we could end up like Zimbabwe, we could end up like Argentina or Venezuela, and it would be wise to avoid that future. Okay, it would be really wise to avoid that future. And remember, Bitcoin is the one thing they cannot fucking take from you. The idea, I don't think you really appreciate how powerful an idea that is, right? The Israeli army can take away that guy's little fucking souvenir shop outside fucking outside the ruins in fucking Palestine. You know what I mean? They can take away Palestinian houses. They can kick people out in the fucking street, make you starving and homeless, right? They can freeze your bank account like they did to fucking Kanye West. They can do all of this stuff because that's their world. That's what they've created. And that's what you choose to stay in. And I'm telling you, you can step away bit by bit. You can step away into and save the value of your efforts, your labor, your fucking time, your services in something that they can't fucking steal from. And that you can't take this from me. That's more powerful than you think. Judas Fletchai, I take anticonvulsants because if I don't, I will Fed post. Wow. Do not, be very careful, sir. There are a number of in my worldview, there are a number of fucking feds who are all over this fucking channel for a number of different reasons, primarily because their fucking puppets are zero talent losers and they're trying to fucking hook me into whatever the fuck. That's what that whole Fed cop being blood related to me via my Scottish, Jewish, French, Irish, whatever the fuck ish nonsense. Yeah, I don't buy that for 2 fucking seconds. Too much of a coincidence, you know what I mean? I wasn't suspicious enough at first, but once my suspicions are raised, you're gonna have to work like a motherfucker to convince me that I'm wrong, and no one has yet convinced me that I am wrong about this. So this channel, as small as it is, 60 subscribers, 42 views. I know feds come here all the time. I've banned feds from the fucking chat. The other thing I forgot to mention, Sam Bankman-Fried went to jail. I mean, that was the other good piece of news. They finally put Sam Bankman-Fried in jail. I don't have the screen share, but they finally put him in jail. So they did drop the political campaign finance charges, campaign finance violation charges. They dropped that, but yes, little Sammy's going to the big house. You know what I mean? That's a reality. He should be watching Prison Tube rather than trying to influence other witnesses in the case. But everything is going our way, slowly or quickly. It's a big complex picture, and it's not always it's not always easy to keep track of it all, but generally we're winning. When I say we, I'm talking about people who have rejected the central bank worldview, the central bank values. You know what I mean? And the reason why we reject that is because we know it's false. We know it's based on theft. We know it's based on corruption, not on human excellence. It builds shit and fucking destroys and fucking murders people all over the fucking world to extract resources. And we don't want to live that way. So we don't live that way. We are looking at building a different fucking world. And we will build this fucking world because Bitcoin is fucking unstoppable, right? Not in Argentina. They can't stop it in Argentina. They can't stop it in El Salvador. Central fucking African Republic, whatever that other country is. You will see us go from strength to strength to strength. And as the U.S. economy goes down the fucking tubes, once this BlackRock ETF actually comes through, and then the Fidelity one and these other ones, everyone with money in the United States that wants to protect it from the incompetent fucking puppets at the Federal Reserve, they're going to move their current wealth into something that cannot be taken from them, inflated away from them, or taxed away from them. They're smart enough to do it. The Kennedys are smart enough to do it. ExxonMobil's done it. The fucking nation of Bhutan has done it. At what point does it get into your head like, hey, maybe this is a good idea for me? You could do this as an individual, as a family, as a corporation. You should make it hard to steal from. That's a good quality of any person, of any color, of any fucking stripe, anywhere, at any time in the fucking history of humanity. You should make it hard to steal from, okay? And it's within your power to do that. And that's what I tell people to do. And, when you talk to somebody who says, Zuckerberg versus Elon, it doesn't matter which of you. Pick either one. You know what I mean? Let the guy argue into, you say, oh, Zuckerberg. By the way, I think it would be Zuckerberg because they want him to be president, so he can't lose. But I don't think it's ever going to happen. But if it actually does happen, Zuckerberg's going to win because he's going to be president. The president of the United States cannot lose a jiu-jitsu match to some dude from South Africa. You know what I mean? That just can't happen. There's still enough time for you to start to be on the winning team. And the winning team is most definitely Team Bitcoin. And it will, well, like I said, the nation of Bhutan, Exxon, the Kennedys, everyone else, like you got to understand that this is driving change all over the fucking world. And the people you thought were undefeatable, the people you thought were all powerful, are fucking bending to us, not the other way around. Anyway, with that, where are we at? We're at 1 hour and 2 minutes. So to everyone that has already smashed the like button, even though Google probably subtracted it, and everyone that's going to watch this the coming week and will smash up the like button, thank you, like button smashers. I appreciate the efforts that you make, even though, again, they lie to me about how popular I truly am. Anyway, so what is it? It's 11 o'clock here. Been running about an hour. So Judas Flychai, Virgil Doc Purple Heart, everyone else, thanks for stopping by, and I will talk to you guys again next week.